Hey y'all. Let me back up. I'm going straight hood tonight. Y'all see what it is. I just want to ask a question and maybe have a little laugh or two, but I want to see what y'all have to say. I just finished up a conversation with somebody's, um, and I wanted to see what the people have to. Do I have something to write on? I wanted to see what the people have to say. Um, so hopefully we'll get a few in here and we can have a little, I don't know where my notepad is. We can have a little conversation, a little dialogue, about the goings on around here. For the few that are in here, I see a couple of you hit that like button. If you don't mind, hit that like button. I want to know if there is a difference between, thank y'all. I want to know if there is a difference between Tracy, hey, how you doing? Is there a difference? I gotta get my hand stuff going on because Miss Fat, hey, how you doing? I'm not in coach mode right now. Like I'm in Sherelle mode. Hey Miss Brenda, how you doing? I just want to have a little conversation and see. I might not share my thoughts because we spent over an hour last time. um so shout out to Sean. And Sean, you were the reason. See, you said something today, so now I gotta call you out. You were the reason why we started this conversation because I saw one of the messages that you left. Y'all listen. I have been seeing all these videos. We have been overloaded. I wasn't gonna touch on this, but then we started talking about it, and I'm like, let me take it to YouTube. Let me see what my folks on YouTube have to say about all this stuff. That's why I'm not coming on here. I ain't trying to be cute for y'all. Y'all see what it is. I done did my walk for the day. I done took my shower. I got this hair wrapped up. It is what it is. So they can talk about it. It'll be all right. I can get cute on another day. I can get cute on another day. So I guess, okay, y'all. So, so how many of y'all have been seeing this stuff with Will Smith and Chris Rock? Is anybody else tired of it except me? Am I the only one that's tired of it? I wasn't going to say anything about it. We talked about it a little bit at work. Got our little giggle on or whatever. Said that we thought stuff was staged. Really wasn't, yeah. But the more I see it, I'm like, you know what? And see, this is why I'm talking to y'all as just a regular schmegular person right now, because I don't want anybody to take this as, as the counselor talking or the life coach talking. This is just me talking to y'all tonight. So, Miss Fast, I was tired when it happened. Let me be the first to say, because I want to make this abundantly clear, that in no way, shape, or form do I condone violence. Career for Life, hey, how you doing? I do not condone violence. Okay, let me say that. Let me say that. But, I shouldn't say but. I shouldn't say, because see, that make it seem like, Okay, so let me change the way that I worded that. Okay, I do not condone violence. Now, with that being said, I'll put it like that. Where are we acting like this man is the first man to ever be slapped before? And again, I don't want anybody saying I condone violence, because I don't. But I truly want to know, why are we acting like this is the first person in U.S. history that has ever been slapped or smacked before? The rules should be the same for all. They should be. I'm sitting here and I'm wondering. This is why I talk about the outrage. See, my problem with the whole situation is, and it's the same thing with the other case that we talk about, like the media tends to tell people when they should be outraged about a particular thing. And once the media says that there should be some outrage, then people respond accordingly. So it would leave me to question, had the media not responded the way that it responded about the situation, then would it be a big to-do for other people? Case in point, John and Jim get into an altercation. Or Jim was talking about John's wife. Okay? Jim was talking about John's wife. John didn't like it. John says, you got one more time to put my wife's name in your mouth. And I'm going to use a phrase that I always heard in my area, and I'm going to smack the taste out your mouth. I'm going to smack the taste out your mouth. Okay. Now, again, not saying that's right, but this is something that I cannot act like I have not heard it, have not seen it, have not witnessed it. Well, I'm gonna try not to be a witness to anything, but I'm just being honest on here tonight. So Jim and John talking. John gave Jim that warning. Jim say, he called us bluff, and he say something about his wife anyway. And John does exactly what he told Jim he was gonna do. He smacks the taste out of his mouth. That doesn't make the 5 o'clock news. It doesn't make the evening news. It's not on Extra. It's not on CNN. It's not on Fox 45, 22, like whatever. Like, it's not like all over the news. And people didn't sit there saying, oh my God, look at these things. So my thing is, I do believe, Carib, I believe it was in bad taste. But my thing is, I think that I don't agree with most people on, hey, I ride solo. I don't agree with a lot of the people that just want to speak on the physical part of it, just seeing that as a problem. Because my thing is, it was in bad taste on both of their parts. You see what I'm saying? And if y'all disagree, please put your comments in the chat. Put your comments in the chat, because this is what this is for tonight. I feel like what Chris did was a form of bullying. You already came after the lady before. Okay, and now you got her and her husband sitting right there. Now, before, when you made the comments, they weren't sitting right there. Now you have the people right here, and I'm going to tell you what I took issue with. Now, when you address these other people that were in the audience, you didn't speak on, whenever you roasted them, it wasn't a personal thing. It wasn't, it was nice. Oh, Denzel, I saw you in whatever. I like when you said such and such ain't got nothing on me. And then he goes, oh, to this couple. Oh, both of you are nominated. If she loses, then you can't win. Little cute jokes. And then you get over to Will and Jada, and it seems to me, because there's some familiarity with them, or you feel like you can get away, or you just want to be picky, then you come and okay, I'm glad I got this thing on. Okay, you see something like this, if you didn't see the top, it looks like I don't have any hair, right? So you go and you make the G.I. Jane joke. Listen, people can go, y'all, do y'all realize that I have alopecia? Do y'all remember me telling y'all the story about my hair being gone when I was younger? Like, all of it gone in the middle, like gone. And it took years for it to grow back. Years. And it's still not all the way back. So you can see, through certain parts. To God be the glory. I got a lot of hair back. But my thing is, you don't know what my situation is. And people saying, oh, well, he was comparing her to G.I. Jane. And G.I. Jane, that was a wonderful movie. Everybody might not think G.I. Jane was a wonderful movie. But this is why I say you got to mind your business. And you got to be mindful about what you say to people and how you say it to people, because you don't know what that woman has going on. And just like you made that joke about her being bald, Look at the response that you got. She did not crack a piece of a smile. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not taking up for her. And before anybody goes there, let me call you out on this BS before it even goes to this point. I don't give a flip what this woman and her husband had going on in their personal life. I don't care who she slept with. I haven't either, Karib. I don't care who he slept with. That is none of my business. And it has absolutely nothing to do with this man embarrassing her on TV. So to me, I see a form of verbal assault, and then I see a form of physical assault. So to me, they were both in the wrong. Now, y'all can call me wrong. I'm okay with that. But to me, they were both in the wrong. You sitting here bullying this woman. You had already came after before. Not the first time. That's not the second time. You done did this before. And I'm pretty sure that man probably told you before to keep that one, his wife's name out his mouth, because the way that he said it, it sounded like it wasn't the first time that he said it. To me. But y'all know I'm always analyzing stuff. But it didn't sound like the first time he said it. It sounded like, all right, see, I had already told you to keep my... He walked up to him. And he didn't say anything initially. He just smacked him. And I could tell by looking at Chris' face that he knew exactly where that smack came from. And am I the only one that saw that? It was one of those things like, oh, he did. And people were like, well, he laughed at first. How many of y'all don't laugh before you go off on somebody? Especially if you like, see, I just told this. Y'all know that kind of laugh. That kind of laugh. But my thing is, I'm wondering, I don't wonder. I mean, I know, but for the sake of conversation, I'm wondering why people aren't keeping the same energy. Why aren't people keeping the same energy? Because my thing is, people say, well, maybe, well, he didn't know that she had such and such going on. But Sean, we weren't there. We don't know what kind of laugh it was. We don't know what kind of laugh it was. Because Jada did too, but she rolled her eye. Then see, that's the thing. You start laughing at the beginning until you think about what somebody said. But Mo Love, how you doing? Are we forgetting that Will is a comedian too? He's not just an actor. He's a comedian too. Now, I'm not saying that he's right, y'all. Don't get me wrong. So come on with your comments. I'm not saying that he's right. What I'm saying, to me, I felt like they were equally wrong. And I just, because to me, when you're bullying somebody, and people say that the stuff wasn't provoked. Let me give y'all my story real quick. And some of you have heard it before. So, and I try not to be a hypocrite on this. So that's why I'm giving y'all my story. So like I told y'all, I am a person that deals with alopecia. If I bend my head down, you can start seeing all up in here. So when I literally did not have any hair in here. I only had hair around my crown. And I would go to school. I would get on the bus every day. And I had this one dude. He kept giving me the devil about it. He would say something every day. I get off the bus. I'm crying. He has me feeling some type of way about myself. Even though any other time I didn't matter, because I could still cover my hair with the front part, pull it back in a ponytail, you know, whatever. But let me tell you, and this is why I say, no, we shouldn't tell people that they need to be able to laugh stuff off. Because unless you've been in certain situations, I say that we have to tread lightly with that. Because let me tell you, he got me on one particular day where I was fed up with him picking on me. I got tired of him bullying me. Now, this is me talking to y'all as a therapist. I'm being real with y'all. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm perfect or anything. I'm being real with y'all so y'all can see exactly where I'm coming from with this. And why I'm looking at this just a little. So the guy, he kept saying something. Oh, you know, other people thought it was funny or whatever. So he caught me on the right day. So when I got on the bus, he started, oh, you got the mange. Y'all look at her, you got the mange. And, you know, had this little thing going on. Now, to some people that didn't understand where he was going with that, I understood. I understood. And my neighbor that was sitting beside me, she understood why he was saying that. So on that particular day, I said, you know what? The only way I'm going to stop him from doing this is I'm going to literally have to stop him from doing this. And I told y'all this before. I took my lunchbox. I know y'all remember. I'm going to just use this little pencil thing. I took my lunchbox. Y'all remember old school, the metal lunchboxes with the handle? Y'all know what I'm talking about, the metal ones. I took my lunchbox and I straight bust him across his head a couple times. That's the last time he picked on me. Now, I am not saying that that's what anybody should do. I'm not saying that I was right in that situation. But I had enough. And that was going to be the last time you picked on me. You were going to find somebody to pick at, or either you were going to get enough that day that I would be the last person that you picked on. I didn't have any more problems out of him. I didn't have any more problems out of him. So my thing is, if I came on here and I'm like, no, it doesn't affect people a certain way, then I'll be sitting up here and I would be hypocritical. Because I know how I felt in the situation. I was young. And the hair stuff doesn't matter as much. Like, you're not as aware of things when you're that young. And that happened, like, went on for a couple years. It was some years before, you know, I got that spiritual healing, and God, you know, started blessing me with some more hair on my head. But my thing was, like, I get it. And to other people, you know, some people have had, you know, people throw little shots at them before. But if you've never been bullied about something that you take personal, it's like if you're... people pick at, like on YouTube, that's why I say when I hear people calling people fat and stuff like that, and I'm like, really? Okay, you don't know what a person's situation is. So, no. Even on the flip side, you have people that pick at people for being too skinny. A lot of people say that's not possible. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. You have people that pick on people because they're dark. You have people that pick on people because they're bright skinned. You got people that pick on people because their hair is short. It doesn't even have to be bald. It's short. So my thing is, Mo Love, let me get that, because it's a difference. It's a definite difference in having clients and being someone that actually has alopecia. That's something that affects you, because as a woman, our hair is our crown and glory. And if someone is a hairstylist or a beautician, and you definitely like know what that is, like if we have a bad hair day, that can mess up our whole day. And it's not even about being vain. And I'm going to say, like, if a man is in this conversation right now, you probably won't even get this, because a lot of people, men will say, well, I went bald too. Women, like somebody just going bald because of age is completely different from somebody having alopecia. Period. It's not the same thing. So when you sit there and one day, baldness, you have that gradual alopecia, you like, you sitting here like, what's going on? And you got spot here, spots and different, depending on what type of alopecia you are dealing with. But it's just like in, you know, people have big birthmarks and people don't understand, so they make fun of them. You know, I know somebody like one of their eyes, I don't know if they have a glass eye, but it looks kind of grayish looking, like something's different about one of her eyes. I don't follow Red Table Talk either. I actually started talking about it on Instagram. But my thing is, there's something that's a bit more deep with it. And even in my situation, because like I said, I was young, I beat that boy. Like, I punished him. And Lord had to forgive me for that. But I punished him with that lunchbox. And when my brother found out what happened, then he went and got him. The next day, he had to deal with my brother. And it wasn't because I told him. Other people told him. And it was because, like, you're not going to be messing with my sister. And he told him, like, she can't help what's going on with her hair right now. Like, why would you go around saying something about the mange? Y'all know what the mange, you got a little mangy mud or whatever, and that's kind of like what it was. And it's like you sitting up here saying something and it's funny to you, but you don't see her laughing. And that was his thing. And I did not sick him on him. That's just what it was. Like, you gonna get this work today. You not it. You don't mess with my sisters, don't mess with my mama like that. That's, you know what I mean? Tracy, she literally had a dent in her head. And I don't want to mark my own head, but she had a dent. She has a dent going across the front of her head, like towards the middle of her head, where like all that was gone. It was gone, and it has like a little dent in her head. So it wasn't regular it wasn't regular thinning. You have to go back and look at some of her videos when she was actually addressing it. She actually like probably like right here. That's not thinning. It's not, and I'm not talking about in a circle. She has like I don't know what she has now, but that was at the beginning when she was first diagnosed with it. She has like an actual dent that goes across like the circumference of her scalp, and it's big. And there's no telling that was a while ago, so there's no telling what it looks like now. Actually she showed it before she got a haircut off. But my thing, even if it's whether it was alopecia, let's say she was overweight and he was, you know, made a joke about her being like playing a part of a big woman in the movie, or like just whatever. He could have went at her the same way that he went at the other people. It didn't have to be something that would have been personal to her. It didn't have to be something that you know, dealt with her appearance. And I'm gonna go a little deeper than that, because when you go back and you see where he addressed her a couple years ago, did anybody not listen to what he said? That's the thing, y'all. When he made the joke about her the first time not being invited to the Oscars, did y'all not hear it? It's like her Jada not being invited to the Oscars is like Rihanna's me with Rihanna's panties. Come on, women. What are you saying? Are we not listening now? Are we not listening to what he's saying? It's like me being, you know, it's like me and Rihanna's panties. I didn't get an invite. Are you freaking serious? And y'all don't see a problem with that? Now, if I'm Rihanna, now I'm offended. What you trying to say? I'm a hoe? You trying to say everybody up in my panties? What my panties got to do with your stand-up? Like that's the thing. Butterflyness. I'm not saying that Will should have slapped him. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is both of them, to me, both of them were wrong. Both of them were wrong. Thank y'all for y'all comments. This is why, and a lot of people have pointed out, but this is why I'm not giving him a pass. Chris did a whole documentary on black women's hair. Y'all don't remember that? And women talked about how their hair was their crown and glory. Do we remember that? He did a whole documentary. So it's not like, let me see if I can find the name of this thing. Was it called Good Hair? What was the name of the darn thing? Shoot, my iPad dead. If somebody can look it up, but he did a documentary on it. So for him to go and say something like that, we can sit here and act like he didn't know, but he was shooting below the belt. Good Hair. Exactly. Okay, it was Good Hair. Go and check it out. I'm not just making this up, and I'm not taking up for Jada. I'm just saying that his joke wasn't in good taste, and what Will did definitely wasn't in good taste. But to me, both of them were equally wrong to me. Because you don't go and intentionally, like, people say he shouldn't have, like, Will shouldn't have embarrassed Chris in front of millions of people. Chris shouldn't have embarrassed this woman in front of millions of people. Now, do the ends justify the means? No, absolutely not. But that's the point that I always try to make. Whenever you bully somebody, you don't know how that is going to turn out. That's what I'm saying. Whenever you mess with people, whenever you comfort people like that, that's why you have to be careful when you're dealing with people, because you don't know how that situation, you can't control somebody else's response if you come at somebody in a negative manner. If you go and intentionally offend someone, it's one thing if you don't do it and they're like, oh, okay, that wasn't intentional. But if somebody feels like you're bullying them, or somebody feels like you're bullying their loved one, you don't know. You have no control over that situation. It's like when two people are fighting and people be like, you don't bring a knife to a gunfight. And I'm just saying this, I'm not for the violence at all. But what I'm saying is, once you get into a fight, people be like, oh, they bought this, they weren't fair. Once you, like, you don't have no say so on what happened. Once stuff started, you don't have no say so on the rest of it. Like, you can't say, oh, you can't do this. No, once it's like, you kick this off, like, you can't go and say, oh, no, we can't do that. Like, you don't have any say so. You don't know how the person is going to respond. But to be sure, as comedians, and everybody, I'm seeing like the same line. I applaud him for being professional. I applaud him for being professional. But I got a major problem because I honestly felt like he was bullying her. And y'all, he knew the joke was foul, because at the end he was like, no, what? This was a nice one. Did nobody heard that? He was like, no, come on, now this is a nice one. This was a nice one. So he's openly admitting that he's been coming for her. Like, at what point? Like, why didn't you go after him? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you wanted to be funny about something, like, shoot, go after him. He was the one that was there for the award. She was his plus one. Go after him. Or do one of those cute jokes like you did for the couple that you talked to before them. You know, that couple. That one. But I mean, I don't know. And I hear people saying that, oh, they need to get thick, like thick skin. They shouldn't have thin skin. But again, at the end of the day, I don't have to go and try to thicken up my skin for somebody else that want to be ignorant. Why do I have to go and try to, suck it up? Just like when the justice was, doing her stuff for her confirmation. People like, oh, she has to have thick skin to deal with this stuff. She handled it well. It wasn't about somebody handling something well. Brittany, she did shave her head. She shaved it because she had the spots on her head. She did shave her head. And that's when she started raising awareness to it. So you think he has a personal problem with Jada, or just telling a bad joke? I actually think that there's some bad blood there. That's what I feel, because he did the stuff before, and they were actually in a movie together a while ago, and there was supposedly some stuff that took place there. But he had like two different occasions outside of this one that just happened where he addressed her and was like pointing the finger directly at her. And it's like, okay, enough already. And my thing is, and I could be wrong. Now, this is strictly my opinion, y'all. This is my speculation. From the way that he walked up to him, and when he said, keep my wife's name out your effing mouth, I felt like they had that conversation before. I don't feel like that was the first time that came up. And that was just me. And like I said, I could be wrong. But just observing how the stuff went down and people's responses and all that. And I feel like that's the reason why Chris decided not to press charges against him. Because he had every right to press charges against him if he chose to. He had that right because he was assaulted. So he had the right to press charges, and he didn't. And I feel like they had that conversation before. I don't think this was something that just came up. I don't think it was something that just came up. And it's that's what it looks like, but you can get alopecia from stress when you're here in different types and so many other things. So she may have some. I'm gonna challenge you. She was diagnosed with alopecia from her doctor. She didn't pull it out the sky. She was diagnosed with alopecia. It wasn't from a hairdresser. It wasn't from her beautician. She got diagnosed just like I got diagnosed. That means you go to the dermatologist. They actually cut pieces out of your scalp. They cut pieces out of your scalp. And they go and they take it to a lab to see what type of alopecia that you have. So she has a clinical diagnosis of alopecia. That's not thinning of the hair. And that kind of frustrates. Like, we're going to call it something else? Like, it is what it is. I'm saying. And see, that's the thing that we have again. And I ask, please don't, come with the stuff about August, because that has nothing to do with this situation. It has absolutely nothing to do with this situation. And why does that mostly come? And I don't know if common sense is a man or a woman, but that comment usually comes from a male. I don't know why. But my thing is, in this particular situation, what happened between them? This is about him making a comment towards her, the husband, her getting upset, and even like people say, "Oh, well, she told him to go up there." Now, this is where a little common sense kicks in. If you watch the clip, if you watch the whole thing in its entirety, like the people filming it in real time, there was not enough time for her to say, "Oh, baby, he hurt my feelings. Go up there and get him." It happened just like that. There was no conversation. Once the laugh started and everybody was laughing and she got this look on her face, before Chris could even get the whole thing out, Will was already going to the stage. So people said she should have stopped him. How you gonna stop a grown man from going to do what he want to do? And why would people blame her for the actions of her husband? How much sense does that make? Do y'all see what I'm saying? People said, well, she shouldn't have took it, she shouldn't have been so sensitive. She wasn't saying anything. Her husband got up and took his gluteus maximus up to that stage and slapped that man. So why are people feeling the need to come after her? He made the joke about her. She didn't go and slap him. Which I wonder if people would have said the same thing if she was the one that would have went up there and smacked him. But she sat there and just made her faces and sat in her own little feelings in her seat. It was her husband that went up there. Why are we expecting, you know what I mean? Like, that was a decision that he made. That's the decision that he made at that particular time. And he went with what he felt like he needed to, what he needed to do. But again, we see these things, and just like I'm sitting on here speculating, Dr. Rogers Will told him, hold on, not to talk about Jada, and he agreed not to, but did it anyway. That's why Will said, I told you. Exactly. That's how it sounded. It sounded like a conversation had already taken place. And see, I didn't even know that, but I could tell by the way he said it. It was like, we done had this conversation and you still trying to play me. And this is how I'm picturing it played out, y'all. And not, like I said, this is my speculation. And later, if I find out that what I'm speculating is inaccurate, then I will come back myself and I will correct that, because that's just how I do. But to me, how this came off to me is if you bring my wife's name up again, if you put you got my wife's name in your mouth, I'ma smack you in your mouth. I'ma smack the taste out your mouth. Like, that's kind of like the conversation. And I'm pretty sure he ain't said like that. But I mean, that's kind of how I hear the conversation going. And people kind of laughing it off. Yeah, yeah, jiggle, whatever. Like, that's kind of I hear you, man. I hear you, man. I ain't gonna say nothing. I ain't gonna say nothing. But then you get into the midst of it all, and you got people laughing and stuff, and oh, it's go time, and now he ain't gonna say nothing. I just throw this out here real quick. But he still knew it was wrong because he said, okay, this is a nice one. This is a nice one. This is a good one. This is a good. No, no. Just like, I mean, me personally, like I said, and I could be, I don't like when Trent, what is going on? What is going on, man? Hold up. No, I was saying if there are different types of alopecia. There are, more love, there are. You have traction alopecia, you have I can't think of the actual name of it, but genetic. Like it's for some people they may call, I don't want to say they cause, but some people like it's self-inflicted alopecia. From like you were saying with the braids and stuff like that, that's traction alopecia. You have other people that have autoimmune diseases. And from that autoimmune disease, that's what it's like, just like I have an autoimmune disease. And it causes my cell, like my body is fighting against it because it thinks that there's a foreign body in there that's not supposed to be there. Well, that's the same thing that happens to the hair with the hair follicles. It feels like something foreign is there and it's not supposed to be there, and it starts destroying those cells. That just look at you coming to here being crazy. But they do have different I wish I could get my iPad up. Hold up. But yeah, they do have different forms. Mine is not was not genetic based. Mine actually was a result of the autoimmune disease and me having psoriasis on my scalp. So the psoriasis is what initially took my hair out. So it's like it wasn't from any type of traction. I'll see if I can find my paperwork and I have that conversation with y'all. But when you have alopecia, I mean, people can say that they have it, but it's actually a formal diagnosis from the doctor, and not just the regular PCP. You actually have to get tests and stuff done. They do a biopsy. They do several biopsies. I think I had like 6 or 7 pieces taken out in my scalp from different places. Every place where they saw that there was hair loss, or where they, and it's not, when I say hair loss, it's not me saying, oh, doc, my hair is breaking off. It's where they actually saw that my hair follicles were damaged. They saw damaged skin there. So so every place that they saw that, and then they even went to some healthy areas so that they compared those areas to the damaged areas. So that's what that is. And some of the stuff, y'all, I would, because I don't mind being transparent, I would share it. But then I'll be in that place because y'all know how people do on YouTube, because they'll take something you put out here and then you'll be the butt of their jokes because you try to go and educate some people on something, and they do just what Chris Rock did. Next thing you know, you'll be the butt of somebody's joke. And I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that today. But yeah, so my thing, I find it ironic that people say, when somebody say something, they'll be like, oh, I'm gonna smack the taste out of such and such. I should have smacked them in their mouth. Like, you always hear people threatening to do it, but then when you actually see somebody do it, you like, and it's not the situation like what happened, the fact that Chris was hit, that he was assaulted. That's not funny. That's not what I'm laughing at. What I'm laughing at is some of the responses that I've seen to it, and the fact that because it happened with celebrities, that people are acting like this doesn't happen in real life every day. And you don't have that same compassion that you have for Jim when John smacked him about talking about his wife. Like, you don't care about John getting smacked. Everybody be like, ooh, and they'll go about their business. And a lot of people, especially if it's a black dude, they gonna be punking him because he smacked them instead of punching them. You went out there and smacked him like a bee. Y'all know how this stuff goes. And they will be picking at him for just slapping them. Oh, you gonna slap the... No. So to me, it's kind of... And I don't know, I may not be making sense to y'all. But I'm just trying to look at it realistically. And I'm just sitting there like, y'all don't have this same energy. People get punched and nobody cares. It may get put on World Star for a little bit. Yeah, you can, Trent. I've seen it. Yeah, you can. At my job, they call it meeting at the flagpole. They tell you, meet me at the flagpole. That's still on the job. It's on duty. It's on that property. It's just a sad situation all around. I wasn't even aware that the wars. I wasn't either, Brina. I had no idea that the wars were on until everyone started talking about. Yeah, I didn't know they were on either. And I really didn't I'm touching on the stuff with you can't hit somebody while they're at work. That's a sucker. Well, I don't know if it's a sucker move. He shouldn't have been talking about that man. Okay, y'all. I want to know for this particular conversation, because I'm going to need a pass. I need to know if I can get a pass to talk to y'all as Sherelle tonight. Not Doc. Okay, I need to be able to talk to y'all as Sherelle tonight, because I don't need nobody saying, oh, she's supposed to be a doctor. She up here telling people that she condone this stuff, and I don't want to hear that. So I need to know in the chat. I need y'all to give me a warning in the chat if it is okay for me to just talk to y'all for a minute. I ain't trying to give you no life lessons. I just want to talk to you. Can I talk to you for a minute? Just real quick. It ain't gonna take long. Just give me a warning if it's all right. Just a warning. His wife is part of their relationship. I had no idea the Oscars were on either. If a person had cancer, you want to joke about it. And the fact she has a medical condition is wrong. Bullying, period. Carla, the only one that put a one in here. Thank you, Carla. Shout out to my dime up in here. Carla, only one. They want me to talk as Doc. I can't go in. Many, I thought it was stage 2. I ain't gonna lie. That's what I was telling the people at work. Because I didn't even know. So when I got to work Monday, that was yesterday. When I got to work Monday, my coworkers were talking about it. And I'm like, huh? And they were like, you didn't see it? And I'm like, nah. So, they told me to go and look at it. Just pull up on YouTube. You don't even have to put everything in there. Just put Will Smith. I put Will Smith. Bam, there it was. And I'm like, man, that mess won't real. Because usually I'm like, I don't be seeing men slapping men. You know what I'm saying? They ready to throw them things. You don't see too much like you slapping. Because, I don't know. Y'all ain't giving me permission to talk. So I'm gonna have to keep it professional here. I'm gonna have to keep, and that's what we did, Teresa. We slowed it down, and here I go, cause y'all know I'm the analyst, so I'm breaking it down. I'm like, look at the trajectory. Look at the trajectory of his hand. We going all in, right? I'm like, look at how his hand twisted and the wind blew at 45 miles an hour. Like, it was like, yeah, that wasn't real. And I'm like, and look at Will's face when he walking off, and look at his face. Cause it did, to me, it appeared that he had a smirk on his face when he was walking off. So I'm like, common sense, what is the deal? What's the deal? I don't think anybody thinks that alopecia is deadly. But whenever someone has alopecia, 9 times out of 10, it is a side effect. It is a symptom of something else that the person has going on. More than likely. It is a sign that you got something else going on in your body. That's it. But whether it's deadly or not, even if it's just somebody's hair thinning, you know what? That don't give anybody the right to go in and pick at people. It is what it is. What would be the reason? Especially as a grown person, kids picking each other. And that's why I gave y'all that story, because I was a child whenever that guy did that. So if it affected me like that as a child, when I wasn't worried about my looks and the money that I make is not dependent upon how I look and whether or not I get certain jobs and stuff like that, it doesn't play a part in that. I don't know. I just feel like as an adult, we know that there are certain lines that we don't need to cross with people. It's just like when people be like, look, you talking about anything you want to, but don't talk about my mama. You know what I'm saying? And then here you, oh, he said don't talk about his mama. Oh, your mama is a bump. And then when something happened, what, I was just joking. Because that's how a lot of people do things. Like, they'll say stuff to you in jest. You know what I'm saying? They'll talk about you. I've seen people do it. Like, I call people out on it. Like, if you want to say something, just go ahead and say what you had to say. Don't try to make it a joke. Don't act like you joking. You meant what you said. Like, that's kind of my thing. Like, don't try to put it in a joke. If you want to go after somebody, then go ahead and say what you want to say straight up. Don't try to make it seem like it's a joke so you can get off one. Just go ahead and say what you got to say. But again, we stay in a country where we're supposed to have freedom of speech. We all have freedom of speech, but with that freedom also comes consequences, be them good or bad, positive or negative. Like, because you don't know if you're talking about somebody. Just like the stuff that happened with Kanye and DL. Look, Kanye got a whole bunch of stuff going on, right? But even though I didn't think that DL was wrong in what he said, he made a comment about somebody's personal life, just like a lot of people were making on that, his situation that was public, just like, Will and Jada stuff is public. But my thing is, DL didn't know how Kanye was going to respond to whatever he said. So if somebody gets upset about what you say, then they don't have the right to come and like do anything to you. But you still know that whenever you say or do something, anything, that it has consequences. Either way, it has consequences. If you walk outside and it's cold and you decide not to put your jacket on, even though you know it's cold, and you go out, and now the end result is that you're freezing. That's the consequence. So that's my thing. I do think it was staged, but for the sake of argument, if it wasn't staged, Will was still out of line to put it in. I'm not disagreeing that he was out of line, but I'm also saying that Chris was out of line too, because go after Will. Like, that lady she didn't do nothing to you. What is the problem? Like, why do you feel the need to keep bringing her up? Shoot, why it gotta be the woman? Go after him. You giving Denzel a nice little roast. You giving the other dude a nice little roast. Why you come over here and she got to get the nasty roast? That's all I'm saying. You being real selective about how you doing stuff. But once again, I know people say, oh, he's in. I've seen some of his stand. Let me just say this for the sake of transparency. I don't think Chris Rock is funny anyway. I don't think he's funny anyway. But just for the sake of arguing, that's with any comedian. And that's what I was going to say earlier. Whenever comedians like roast people in the crowds, I don't agree with that. I do not like that. Because I'm like, you bullying people. You like find people to pick at but like you find something wrong with them, like physically, to go and like do your little show or whatever. Like, you got to pick at somebody to be funny. Like, that is a complete turn off to me whenever I go to a show. And I love a good comedy show. But the best ones I've been to, they're not roasting people in the crowd. Like, that irks me. Like, why? Talk about the build and, talk about how to, like, but why you got to go after somebody? You see, like, a big person get up and to go to the bathroom or something, then they already know if they stand up, the people going to point them out and they're going to go after them. It's like certain things, like, they're going to go after it. And it's like, why do you have to do that? And that was the question that I had on the live the other day. Like, why can't you entertain people without hurting somebody else? Like, why does somebody else, have to be the butt of your joke? Why does somebody else have to, be a casualty of war because you want to go and make other people laugh? Because to me, that's part of your craft. You should be able to do that on your own, just with the material that you came with. And it's to my understanding that the people at the Oscars said that Chris went off script. That was not one of the jokes that was written for him for the show. He went off script when he did that joke. So they ain't taking no parts in that. They ain't taking no parts. They said you on your own. You on your own. So I guess for me, again, both of them, people are just saying that. I just don't. Yeah, they knew this wasn't like they knew each other. They were supposed to be friends. They knew each other. So I'm not gonna go back and forth about that because I ain't making no excuses for nobody. Both of them need to go and sit their tails down somewhere. They need to go sit their tails down somewhere. Because at the end of the day, I'm like, I just believe that man said, you better keep my wife's name out your mouth. And Chris said, okay, your wife. Like, that's kind of how it came across to me. But I do think he was bullying. I think he was bullying. Because the jokes that he told, he didn't do that with anybody else. He didn't. Okay. So, yeah, his numbers went through the roof. Definitely went through the roof. And that's the thing. It's just like, people say that Kevin Hart isn't funny. I love Kevin Hart. Chris Rock plays to mainstream media. He gonna sell a lot of show. I ain't mad at him. I am not mad at him. He's going to sell out a show because he knows what audience to play to. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. And that's why he was, chosen to be the host. I mean, certain folks will never be chosen to be the host. And we just gonna leave that there. Certain folks will never be chosen to be the host. They know who to get to host their shows. But I mean, my thing, Will came out, he issued a public apology. That was yesterday. Because that night he did not apologize to Chris. He apologized to everybody else on the merry-go-round. And he went completely around Chris. Now, I think that his apology was definitely warranted. Like, right away, because you put your hands on the man. So, yeah, you need to apologize. But I think I don't think he needs to apologize to Will. I think he needs to apologize to that man's wife. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's just me. Because that's who you offended. That's who actually have to sit there and deal with your little comments or whatever, and however she feel about it. Will, that was his wife, but she was the one that you were talking about. So I ain't saying nothing about him needing to apologize to Will. That's on them. But I feel like he needs to apologize to her. But that's just me. That's just me. But I do believe that that's why he didn't press charges. Because y'all know these folks are about their money. And you done gave somebody some clips that's going to last for a long time. I actually think it's going to be like anything else. It'll be in the news for maybe 2-3 months. And then it'll be on to the next story. Look at Common Sense just trying to be petty. Petty boots. Chris would feel that slap and tell August. Petty boots. Oh, gosh. Oh, my goodness. But, she still looks beautiful. She does. I always thought she was a pretty woman. Even when she was on Different World, I always thought she was a pretty girl. And I always thought she had beautiful hair, too. So, I mean, I get it. I'm not one, and I guess because I can sympathize, I can empathize with her. I mean, I honestly, I get it. And it may not be a lot to other people. It may seem like nothing. So what, you lost your hair, but yeah, to some it's deeper than that. I got roasted one night. Shoot. I got roasted one night at a comedy show. The comedian asked me, where did I learn how to whisper in the helicopter? Where did I learn how to whisper in the helicopter? You were talking that loud? See, a joke like that, I can take. Well, I can take a joke anyway. But it's just, You know, it's just like I come on here and people go with the grease face. You know what I'm saying? You are not gonna hurt my feelings. The reason why you're not gonna hurt my feelings because in reality, I got oily skin. So you think saying grease face gonna hurt my feelings? Y'all will see me on here sometime. Now I won't do it with this, but you gonna see me patting my face because I noticed that my nose and that T-zone. Shoot, I gotta like they get oily and I see it. You know them sebaceous glands be popping, and so I got to go and tap real quick. But the purpose of that is to bully. People do that because they're hoping that that's like your little Achilles heel, and that's gonna be the thing to get under your skin and hurt you. No, you gotta hurt me with like not if it's something I know is true. What you want me to say? Yeah, well, looking a little greasy, right? You know, like what you want me to say? But I mean, and that's not something that was um that's not something that's like a thing for me now. When I had psoriasis and when like really bad eczema, and then you go and say, you know, oh, like you got alligator skin. I hear people say like that kind of stuff to like other people. Now that's something that might kind of dig at me a little bit when I was younger. But and that's the stuff like people might, well, I didn't know that you had such and such. You saw my skin. But I didn't know that that's what it was. But you knew that you were picking at some sort of ailment that I had. So even though you don't know the exact name of what it is, you still put it, you know, in your little mind that you're going to try to do something to try to degrade me and try to make me feel bad. You try to embarrass me. So I don't care if you don't know what the name of it is. And that's the thing with grown folks. Like, I ain't giving you a pass on that. Nah, because you knew exactly what you were doing. You knew what you were doing. You picking. And when a grown person does that, you're a bully. Children pick. Grown people, you just a flat out bully when you're doing stuff like that. Just my thoughts. But this is really the thing. Why are we so offended when it comes to them? We don't know these people. We don't know these people from Adam. My question is, when you see Jim and John having a conversation on the street and that happens, are you that offended? That's what I'm asking. Because I feel like, once again, that this is another one of those situations where people have allowed the media to tell them that they need to be so outraged about what happened, when if this happened in everyday life, people wouldn't give two flips if it was some regular Joe Schmoes walking down the street. And they wouldn't have sat there. They wouldn't have sat there and be like, oh, well, you should have counted to 10 and that. Now, I would have said it as a counselor. I would have said, yeah, you should have counted to 10. You should have did that Carl Winslow 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3. What the heck is about? Like, I'm going to give you that advice. But just like the regular, man, you let him get away. Man, you should have smacked the taste out of his mouth. Like, that's usually, I ain't saying everybody think like that. Because I know somebody going to say, well, I wouldn't tell nobody to do that. But I'm just having just regular conversation. You know what I'm saying? Just, because I've seen people, you know, get in fights and all this stuff. And I don't see all the videos and stuff popping up when it's just, you know, when it's Shanika and Tasha, when they going at it. And one on smack one. People like, oh, girl, did you see that? But all this outrage and people coming out and everybody, like, all the, like, you just don't see that. I've always liked Jada. She's beautiful. I know about the hair as well. In braids. Also, she seems to have tough skin. This is a messed up situation. Gail, I agree. So, I mean, I don't know. I think that's the thing that got me. And that's why I put a short up today, and it was Keke Palmer. And I thought it was hilarious. She did her little monologue like Moesha used to do at the end of her shows, writing her journal with the little music playing in the background. And it was basically like, yeah, so Will smacked the it out of Chris Rock. Not like we haven't seen people being smacked before. And it was true. No, that not to take away from what happened, but people are like, this was the biggest thing in history. No, it's not. No, it's not. How come something like that is getting more attention than the court whenever they were giving out doing the court cases and stuff with George Floyd and the Chauvin and the people, the officers that were involved? Like, you had all this kind of, you got stuff going on right now. People have not, I mean, are we acknowledging how many women are coming up missing and found dead in the last few months, the last month? Like, are we overlooking that? Especially shoot in Georgia. We have a lot of stuff that is going on. I'm like literally like writing down and taking notes about the number of females that have been found. They were missing and they have been found dead. And we like, this is the top story for the next 3 weeks. Like, a grown man smacking another grown man, and then people acting like he literally like punched his teeth out or something. Again, violence is not the answer. But we are seriously acting like this man went and picked up a brick off the ground and just clocked him in the face with it. Like it was an open hand smack. Chris didn't even, I mean, you know what I'm saying? He was like, oh, that's all you got. It was like you hit one of them little balloons. You know, you got the little punching balloon. Boom, boom, boom. And the thing just keep, like you, like, oh, okay. And he said, I mean, he said, dog, he smacked that out of me. Will Smith just knocked that out of me. He said smack. So even for him, he didn't say hit. He didn't say punch. Because even with that, y'all, people have taken what happened. And you'll see people writing and they'll say, oh, he punched him. He shouldn't have punched. Where did y'all see a punch at? Well, in the story that such and such wrote, go watch the video. If you watch the video, you'll see that there were no punches that took place. He did slap him. He absolutely did smack him. And Chris had the right to go and press charges. Chris had the right to go and smack him back. Chris had the right to go and punch him back. Chris could have done what he chose to do at that particular moment, because just like he had no control over how Jada was going to respond or how her little family was going to respond, Will had no control over how Chris was going to respond when he hit him. See, that works both ways. It go that like all the way around. You know, it goes. So he had the right, and he had the right not to respond and do exactly what he did and go on with the show and address it later, which I'm glad he did. But still, on all fronts, I just think they were all, I'm not going to say they were, those two, I feel like they were wrong. Vonda, hey, how you doing? And my personal opinion, I feel like the viewers are just as bad, if not worse, than the people that were involved, because now they're coming after her acting like she was the one that did something during this thing. And that's what I'm saying, to go and now we want to talk about that little marital stuff that's going on. What does that have to do with what happened in this particular situation? And why are we overlooking the fact that, yes, she had this stuff that was going on with this man, but Will also admitted that he cheated on her? So I see all this stuff about, you know, all this, she did this to him and she did that to him. But at the end of the day, this is about the comment that was made and the slap that took place. Like, that's it. And what's going to happen after that? And now this stuff is done. There's nothing anybody can go back and change it. It has been done. But why are we acting like this is the first time somebody has been slapped? And it's not, and we're going to keep it real, it's not the first time that a comedian has been slapped for a bad joke. Because if you go back and listen at the old school comedians, or like listen to people, stand-up comedians that do stuff in clubs that like to do that roasting, oh, some of them people come back at them. Like, okay, all right, ha, 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 okay, and so go on about your business, man, going. And if they keep going, you may have a problem. I watched a show, a stand-up with 85, is it 85 South? The guys that were on, that are on Nick Cannon's show, on Wildin' Out. And they had a show, I want to say it was in Missouri. I could be wrong, I have to go back and check. But, like, dude was, like, straight ready to, like, they had the whole dude, like, because he was like, enough is enough now. Like, so that's my thing, because my a lot of the people in school that were funny and had everybody laughing, it was usually done at other people's expense. So yeah, you got everybody laughing, but it's because you were picking at somebody else. I never liked that. I never liked that. Will has been going through a lot for some time. When Jada looked at him, he was upholding her honor for so many reasons. Gail, it actually has me interested. Just from watching this, it has me interested in going to check out his book, because I've been seeing a lot of people say that after reading his book, or because they read his book, it helped them understand the situation a little bit better. And I'm guessing from what I've been seeing that there was some unresolved issues with his dad, and him feeling like he wasn't able to protect his mom when his dad was abusing his mom. Let me put this disclaimer out here again really quick. I am not making up any excuses for Will Smith. I don't know that man. I don't have a dog or a cat in that fight. But I look at a situation in its totality. And that was one of the things that they said he talked about in the book. Like, always feeling bad and feeling guilty, that he felt like a wimp because he wasn't able to protect his mom when his dad was abusing her. So if I read that and then I look at this situation, then that makes me put things in a completely different perspective. Completely different. Just like I would think about, people, and I'm not going to get into it, but like the case that, we've talked about for a long time. Whenever I look at the whole situation, I think about how this person had things that were done to him by a family member. I think about those things and how certain things make people react down the road when people have unresolved issues from their childhood. And it doesn't have to be little children. It could be from their teenage years. Shoot, some of it can be from adulthood, depending on what happens. So when I look at those things and put, all of that together, I mean, it makes you look at things a little bit different if you're looking at the situation with an objective lens. Now, if you're looking at it just to get your laugh on, and you'll be like, yeah, whatever. That joker just went up and slapped him. That's what that was. Which is true. That's what he did. I promise to God, that's what he did now. We ain't taking that away. That's what he did. But to me, I feel like all the stuff later is like... when he did it, like, you were in your moment, yeah, you went and did that, and then I think afterwards, like, oh, shoot. I'm pretty sure he didn't say shoot, but y'all know how I do. I'm pretty sure it was like, oh, shoot, what the flip did I just do? On national TV. International TV. On the international stage, what the flip did I just do? And it's too late at that point. It's too late. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. I guess all you can do is cry at that point. You can't go back. Like, you did this on TV, bro. You can't go back and change that. And it's just like, once you, like, take it there, it's hard to, bring it back down this way. It may go downhill, but once you take that thing, it's hard to bring it back. It's hard to bring it back down. So... he's definitely going to have to deal with that. And people say, I hear a lot of people say that he has to deal with his consequences. I think that's one of the biggest consequences. Just my opinion. I think that's going to be one of the biggest consequences for him. Because you reacted in a moment and everybody saw it. And it's like, it's not like you filming a movie and you can go back and, take 2, take 5, take 6. Like, you can't go back and do that. You can't go back and do another take. Like, it's done. And even though people may not have seen it live, it's like just about everybody's seen it now, even though it may not have been live. People know about it now because people are making it, big news. This is getting more coverage than Russia and Ukraine. I'm like, what the flip? This getting more coverage than the fact that gas, right at $5. And for some people, it is $5. It's getting more coverage than that, I'm like, folks need to be talking about getting ready to walk in a minute, not being able to afford gas. I got my little card, like, it took $65 to fill up my car. Like, that's usually like a $20 tank. Like, and I know people might not care. That might not be the big story, but I mean, it's other stuff. It's other stuff other stuff that's going on. Um, just a lot of stuff that's going on. So I don't know, but I look at the comedians. And one thing I noticed with them, like the stuff with DL Hughley, like I said, now I agree with DL Hughley on the stuff that happened with him and Kanye. But I see that the other comedians they came to his defense. And usually when something happens to a comedian, the comedians all come to their defense. Unless it's two comedians going at each other. Um, so my thing is, it's like sometimes they don't want to call each other out on stuff. I've heard Ricky Smiley, he talked about the stuff with Kanye and DL, and of course, he took up for DL and was, saying DL used to be this, and he a street dude and all this stuff, and he'll do this and he'll do that. I'm calling hypocrisy on it all, because now it's the same person that's saying that Will is wrong for slapping this man, but when it came to like DL and Kanye and even with Steve Harvey, like they talking about, meeting up, seeing somebody, to catch me. You see what I'm saying? So I'm like, where is the outrage coming from? It's like, to me, it's fake outrage, because when there's certain situations, then y'all don't mind saying that you're going to throw hands, you're going to put your paws on somebody. And then somebody actually going to put their paws on somebody. Not, oh my God, they were wrong. This is just abhorrent. This is the worst thing I've ever seen in life. But you were just talking about putting your hands on somebody. And then somebody made a great point earlier today that I saw. At one point you said, what happened to the days where people used to fight instead of shooting each other. You put your, you know what I'm saying? You go ahead and just fight it out instead of, and now you got somebody try to go and fight it out, and y'all take, oh, this like the worst of the worst. I just feel like the media played a huge influence in how people feel about the situation, because I just don't see this type of energy when it comes to just everyday people that don't have that type of money. That's just my personal thought on that. I see people that go after people on YouTube all the time. You got people threatening, bodily harm to people. They threatening people's families. Should I have somebody threatening me, like imminent harm, and people laughed it off, and they thought that it was funny. It was cool. You right. Go ahead and do that. Do that. Do that. And then you see something like this where somebody gets smacked. And that's the worst thing in the world. I'm trying to understand the psyche behind that train of thought. Like I'm trying to wrap my head around all of it, because I feel like this is not just media induced rage, but I feel like it's selective rage. I feel like it's selective rage. And Carla, that may have a part to do with it too, but also what I think about that, for us, that's company, but for them, that's not company. You see what I'm saying? Like for us, we're like, don't do that in front of mixed company, but for them, that is their company. You think about the people that they interact with and stuff like that, that's their company. I wonder if they really consider it to be mixed. Like we look at it and we're saying, no, you don't do that in front of mixed company. But for them, these are their cronies. These are, you know what I'm saying? So is it really company, like mixed company for them? Because like when you see the parts in the middle, when they show people coming up, consoling them and all that stuff, like look at the people that were actually coming up and consoling, and the people that said they did, go and talk to both of them. I'm like, let me tell you something else. I thought about that. Let me see. I missed a comment. Him having a few drinks didn't help as much. This was his big night. Who knows? We've heard of setups Chris Rock shows us sold out. Come on, Doc. Well, I mean, when you have something going on like this, hey, and there's a show involved, it usually sells out. It usually sells out. Or if there's an album dropping, somebody got an album dropping or whatever, like this controversy, it usually fuels them. Black is black no matter where the geography. True story. True story. True story. I mean, I don't know. I just, y'all, I'm putting my thoughts up here, but I want to, see what y'all think, because y'all might not agree with me, and that's fine. I see your comments and I respond to your comments, but if you don't agree with me, then that's most definitely fine, because I enjoy responding back to you. But I feel like it's selective rage. I really do. And it happens to us all the time, and that's why I have like an issue with that side of the media, because they'll show us little snippets and they'll show us just enough, and they'll paint the narrative of how they feel people should respond to certain things, and that's usually how the culture tends to respond, the way that media tells them they should respond, instead of looking at a situation in its totality to really, feel stuff out. And that's what I was doing. Like I said, my coworkers and I, we talked about it. We laughed about a few things, looked at it. Then I talked to some other people, we sitting up here just, shooting the bobo or whatever, like, yeah, okay. And we just getting each other's take on it. Okay, well, I'm thinking about this. I'm looking at this. But I mean, ultimately, everybody responds to situations differently. But it's always easy for us, if we're not the ones in the situation, it's always easy for us to tell other people how they should have responded in a situation. But if we go back and we have some real conversations and talk to people about different situations that they've been put in, how did they respond? Or have you ever been in any type of similar situation? Because if not, how do you know how you'll respond? Because there's one thing Sean mentioned yesterday, whatever day that was, we were live Sunday, when you talk about that fight or flight, when you get into that fight or flight mode and that adrenaline starts rushing, do you really know how you're going to respond? We like to think that we will respond to certain situations a certain way, but do you really know how you're going to respond? Because I could see somebody having getting embarrassed like that, even if the person says that it was a joke, and the next time the camera goes across them, they're sitting in the chair crying. Now, how would people have responded to that if the camera went and brushed across her face and she was over there crying as a result of that joke? Then I feel like people would have said she was being too sensitive and she should have brushed it off, and it's just a joke, just like people are saying now. So I don't know. Same token, I feel like if Chris would have responded back to Will, if he would have knocked the tar heel out of Will after Will smacked him, if he would have hit him back, then that would have been a whole other thing too. What he shouldn't have did is he should have been the bigger man. That's what people would have been saying on that. He should have been a bigger man. Just because Will slapped him, he didn't have to slap him back. Like, there's a lot of these situations are lose-lose when it comes to public opinion. Like, for some people, you're darn if you do and darn if you don't. Like, no matter what way you respond, there's always going to be somebody that said you should have did this and you should have done that. So I feel like either way, there was going to be some kind of response. Some kind of response. Now, ultimately, I do feel, and I need to be completely honest with this, I feel like if Will wouldn't have responded to it at all, then we wouldn't have been, none of this would have played out the way that it played out. Like, if, at all. Because some people say he should have just got up and said, keep my wife's name out your effing mouth. I feel like if he would have done that, we still would have had a big to-do versus him just not saying anything at all. Then you're left with somebody, possibly saying, oh, well, you didn't do such and such for your wife, and which should not matter. It absolutely should not matter. But I do think that a lot of people are allowing the media to tell them that they should feel a type of way about the situation or should even be concerned about it at all. Because at the end of the day, what is this doing? You know what I mean? To help out the great, like, how are we being affected by it? Other than having something to talk about, having something to converse about. Like, how are we being affected by her feelings being hurt? How are we being affected by him slapping him? How are we being affected by him not slapping him back? Like, how is that affecting us other than giving us something to talk about? So why are we so invested in whether who was right, who was wrong, who should have done this, who should have did that? And I guess just for me, like I said, and I know I'm contributing to the commentary now by talking about it, but I really want to see, like, how do we get caught up in this stuff where all of a sudden, like, stuff that we see everyday people do, not just this, a lot of stuff that we see everyday people do, and we don't pay any attention. We don't give it the light of day. We don't give it any type of energy. Once something comes out on the news or the media puts something out, then we give it all this energy and it gets all this outrage and these public outcries, and we're doing the most with it, but we don't put that same energy into the people that we know that may be going through something similar or have been through or are going through something similar. We don't give them that same energy. We see somebody get two dudes and one dude smack the other dude. Like I said, we like, oh, and we go about our business. So what makes this so special other than these people having money? Y'all don't hit me. Y'all don't hit me. What time is it? Okay. Hair keep trying to fall out my wrap cap. So that was my thing. I wanted to get y'all take on this thing tonight. Because like I said, this was a conversation that we were having. We've had today. We've had yesterday. And, you know, we were kind of joking about a lot of stuff because, like I said, anybody being assaulted, that is not funny. And let me repeat it for the umpteenth time. I do not condone violence. But I would also be a hypocrite if I said that I have not responded to a situation where I felt like I was being bullied. Even though I was young, I was a child, I would be lying if I said that I hadn't been in a similar situation, not too similar, because I have never been a millionaire and I have never been embarrassed in front of millions of people, maybe 20, 30. But I have never been embarrassed in front of millions of people by somebody. So that part is different. But I have stood my ground when I finally got fed up and I said, you know what? You're going to leave me alone. One way or the other, you're going to leave me alone today. So I try to look at things from all sides, because at the end of the day, y'all know how I feel about bullying. I don't think you need to be bullying people. I don't think there's anything right about it at all. No justification. You don't need to be bullying people. Period. Point blank. It is what it is. And then at the same time, you don't need to be putting your hands on folks. You don't. Now, again, I'm not a proponent of violence, but I would never be the one that says if somebody goes and tries to beat you up to just sit there and take it and don't defend yourself. I'm not going to say that. That is not me. Y'all know what kind of stuff I do, so I'm not going to sit there and tell somebody just let somebody beat up on them. That's not what I'm saying. I would never say that. But just going around just feeling like you can go and assault people because you don't like the way the stuff has been done, I do not support that. At the end of this, we have to be mindful about what we say and what we do to people, because again, we cannot control other people's reactions to our behaviors. We cannot control their responses. We don't know what people are going through at any given time. So that's something that you always have to remember whenever you make a decision to go and put somebody out there. You feel like you just got to go and say whatever it is you got to say on somebody else, speaking on somebody else. then you also have to try to, it would be beneficial. It would behoove you. It would behoove you to try to run those consequences through your mind real quick, of your actions. Like, play that what if game as quick as you can. Like, if I do this, then this could possibly happen, this could possibly happen, this could possibly happen. Because you don't know. And you don't know. You don't know. So, with that being said, I appreciate you guys coming out. This live was so unexpected. I just wanted to come and see what you guys had to say, because I was sitting here getting a little kiki out of Kiki. When I saw that, and me and my friend, we had this conversation, and we're from a different place, y'all. We're from a different place because we're just from a different place. And thank God everybody's not from that same place. But like our families, like, we stand up for each other. Y'all know. Just from my shit. You mess with one of my brothers, you mess with me. You mess with my mama. You mess with my sister. You mess with my family. You mess with my god kids, my nieces and nephews. You might as well go ahead and mess with me. I'm just saying. Now, I ain't saying I'm going to beat everybody up. That is not what I'm saying. But you mess with them, they are not the only ones you're going to have to go deal with. Unless they were the ones that were picking on you. That's all I'm saying. Leave people alone and let them live. If they're not bothering you, don't bother them. Because that lady was not bothering that man. She was an innocent bystander supporting her husband in that crowd. And he bought his gluteus maximus over there and said, today is a day I'm going to pick on this woman. The day that she's sitting right here. I done did it before and she wasn't here, but today I got her. So this is really going to be great. I'm going to say it to her face. And that was the end result of all that. Just saying. All right, y'all. So again, thank y'all for hanging out with me tonight. Thank y'all for looking past all of this. All of this. And like I said, I may be the one getting talked about today, tomorrow, the next day, about this. And it's going to be all right. I ain't going to go and slap nobody. Yeah, I ain't gonna go and slap nobody. I'm joking, y'all. I'm joking. Yeah, I ain't going to slap nobody because it's not that deep. It's not that deep. But again, you just, Sir Miguel, how you doing? How you doing? You just don't know how people are going to respond. And that's the real message that I wanted to put out here today. Just leave people alone. Just leave people alone. If they are not bothering you, do not bother them. It's just not okay. It's not okay for you to go and make somebody the butt of your jokes. Even when people are roasting or whatever, a lot of times with those roasts, those real roasts, they kind of let people know like what the topic is going to be before they go and, just put stuff out there. And I can tell y'all, see, that did not happen. So do you think we'll be going back to the house? I don't know. You know what? All right, Solo, let me answer that real quick because I'm thinking about something. A lot of times when people do stuff, you better not, my love, you too gorgeous to be fine. Hey, Mano. A lot of times when stuff, well, this hasn't happened before, but when you have like little scandals and stuff, especially with people with, award shows and stuff like that. Think about the situation with Kevin Hart like a couple years ago, and they wanted him to apologize and whatever. A lot of times the people let their pride get in the way, and they're like, no, I ain't saying nothing, I ain't doing da-da-da. And, they hold off. And that's usually the reason why they don't end up, getting that invitation back or whatever. With Will, that same night on that same stage, even when he received his award, he apologized to them for his behavior. And then he came out and did a public apology the next day. Now, for them, I feel like, it's just my opinion, y'all. Y'all can disagree. For me, I feel like with them, it's about saving face. And regardless of the fact that people saw it as this, oh, well, they had all this other stuff going on. And they were like, there was just all these firsts for all these people. And although a lot of people didn't watch the Oscars as they were on, they haven't received this much attention from their show in years. So people didn't watch it live, but once they found out what happened, they actually went back and watched it. So it gave the Oscars more attention than they literally have had in 5-10 years. So I actually think that they would bring him back just because of the controversy. I actually do think that they will bring him back. And we would know that, like, if something else comes up and he ends up being nominated, then we're going to have the answer to our question. Because if he gets nominated, then he'll be there. Unless he decides not to come to the Oscars or whatever. But I feel like they'll do it. And if anything, they'll use it as a teaching moment and let him get up on the stage and give his little spiel on, violence being wrong. And let them use it as a teaching moment. That's what I'm thinking. Now, I could be wrong, but that's what I'm thinking. I had issues reconnecting, so I made another video for you. Oh, Sean, you had me a little hesitant to go and watch them videos because you be bullying me. I'm joking. I'm joking. But yeah, so that's just my take on it, y'all. Like I said, y'all may disagree, but I felt like I need to come on and just like, let's get over it already. I'm not telling the people that were involved to get over it. They need to handle whatever they need to handle. Will, Jada, Chris, attorneys, if attorneys get involved, like, they need to handle it. But for everybody else, like, get over it. Let's move on to something else. Like, get over it, I think you're great even if we did. Thank you, Sean. Thank you. People have t-shirts. Oh my Lord. Listen, people are going to find a way to capitalize off stuff. Y'all already know. Good night, Gail. People going to find a way to capitalize. Look, I love my people, y'all. We going to find a way to capitalize off some stuff. You hear me? Child. Yeah, once the memes started coming and, you're going to see t-shirts. And I saw somebody on Instagram today. I got to get out here, y'all. But somebody got a tattoo. They got a tattoo of the picture of Will smacking Chris Rock. I'm like, I don't think Will was wrong. So, okay, there we go. We got somebody saying he would have did the same thing. See what I'm talking about? See, we're trying to get a whole new conversation started. But, yeah, I'm like, I ain't saying, you know what I'm saying, but I can tell y'all. Now, I ain't going to say that my ex would have been up there trying to throw hands because he ain't throw no hands, child. I'd be the hand thrower. But my brothers... Oh, you saw it, all right? So I was like, what in the world? How my mama said, y'all done ran slam out. Y'all done ran slam out. I live in my car in Hood River, so people can see the merchandise even if they want to. That might be a good thing, Sean. That might be a good thing. But yeah, my we come from a very spiritual household. But yeah, we still know how to throw them hands. But violence is not the answer. Violence is not the answer. So, yeah. But I'm just on a serious note, like, being honest, yeah, that wouldn't that won't, yeah. It's not even about a significant other. Like, if that was one of my brothers, shoot my nephews, cousins, shoot some of my homeboys, like, yeah, that ain't going down like that. And that's just how some people feel. Well, if it's okay, I got about 500 people. They're shot. No, it's not okay. It's not okay. It's not okay. I'm trying to make that perfectly clear. It's not okay. Yeah. Yes, it's not okay. It's not okay. No, it's not okay. So, yeah. I'm going to get off. Monique don't even show up for that. That's the reason. See, y'all, every time I try to get off here, y'all got to say something and have me sitting back here so they can talk about my little rap cap. Let me just put that plug in there real quick. From my hairdresser, she got a little line. Okay. But yeah. That's what Will and Jada were boycotting whenever the comment was made back in 2016. They were boycotting the Oscars because of the lack of cultural diversity. So this year, this is one of the years where they really did have cultural diversity. And then you had this stuff going on. So that's why a lot of people that's why they claim to be upset about some of the stuff, but I'm like, the stuff happened. Like, it doesn't matter how many folks were in the room, like, it happened. Leave people alone. Let me see if I ask people threatening my sister. It's a hard person 2 months ago. That said his wife, they forgot he was from Philly and believe he's from Philly. Man, no, like, all jokes aside. Well, no, I'm still okay. Listen, that's one of the things I thought about. I'm like, yo, dude's still a Philly dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know, it's like, yeah, people do think like he the Fresh Prince for real. You know what I'm like? That's the one thing, and I gotta get off here. Like, when people see celebrities, it's they really do look at them like they are immortal. Like, they really don't, like, they are human. They do human things. They just happen to be humans that make a lot of money. You see what I'm saying? But a lot of them have more problems than the regular folks. Y'all know, more money, more problems. So that a lot of them, you know what I'm saying? They probably done went and smacked a lot of people because they felt like they could. This one just got caught on camera. Y'all do know this not the first time that Will smacked somebody, right? This ain't the first time. This is not the first time that he smacked somebody. I'm just saying. This is not the first time. It's not the first time. So I'm like, these people, they go and they do just like the dude. Y'all saw the little rapper dude trying to get attention that walked up on DL in the bathroom and then made his video trying to get clout or whatever. Now, DL turned around to that dude, little young dude. DL turned around to that dude. I saw him sizing him up. That dude might not have saw DL sizing him up, but I saw DL sizing him. And it's like, y'all don't want to get, never mind who I am now. I'm sorry, it was like one of them Rick James moments. Y'all know what I'm talking about? I'm trying to get off here. Never mind who you thought I was. I'm Rick James. Like, it was like, it's like one of those moments. It's like sometimes they feel like they got to remind you like who they are. Like, and that's kind of like what Will said. You got to put on this facade and act like everything cool and laugh everything off and have people coming at you any kind of way. And y'all know that it's true because y'all see it here on YouTube. Like, people be coming at us crazy. I mean, all types of crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. So my thing is, we don't expect the people that make more money, like, we expect them to contain themselves. They need to practice some restraint. They got to have some restraint about themselves. You can't be out here just responding to folks because you got money. That's what somebody said about Will. He can afford therapy. You can afford therapy too. Go to mental health. They'll see you. I probably, no, we ain't getting on that conversation. But yeah, we can't act like just because these folks are making a lot of money that they are not human and they don't do human things. You know what I'm saying? They just have more money than what the average person has. But they still do the same stuff. I'm just saying. Still got the same reactions. Still be wanting to curse people out. I mean, it is what it is. And I'm just tired of people thinking they can bully people, y'all. I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm tired of it. I'm so tired of it. Like, leave people alone. They didn't bother you. They ain't do nothing to you. They didn't even ask to be the topic of your conversation. They didn't even ask to be acknowledged. Like, they didn't ask you to acknowledge their existence. As a matter of fact, you took it upon yourself to acknowledge their existence. Leave people alone. Like, that's it. That's all. Leave them alone. Yeah. That's my word for today. Yeah. Okay, shout out to the DIAM tonight. Shout out to the subscribers on the channel. Shout out to the non-subscribers. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Then stand up and Sean, what you talking about, man? What you talking about? Yeah, shout out to the subscribers. Shout out to the non-subscribers. If you haven't subscribed, Please subscribe. We'll only would only get a misdemeanor. He ain't getting that because Chris ain't pressing charges. That Solo, that's what I'm saying. That's how I know that he knows that what he did was inappropriate. Because if he stood in what he said, if he didn't think there was anything wrong with it, Will Butt would have been posting bail. Jada would have had to go up there and get her boo. She would have been like, Whitney, I love you, baby, I love you. She would have had to go get her boo. She would have had to go get him out. She would have had to go get her boo out. She would have got her boo. So that's all I'm saying, y'all. But I'm gonna take myself on out of here and go and get in this bed so I can get up for work in the morning and try to talk these people out of talking about this Will Smith stuff anymore. And I'm gonna tell them what the audience thought about it. I'm gonna be like, and this is what they said. And you know, we got the smartest people on this channel. Like, we got the smart. How Trump said, we got the smartest of all of the smartest that have ever been the smartest in like the whole world. We got the smartest of the smartest that have ever been called smart of the smartest in the whole wide world. Like, we got them over here. So. Thank you, man. No, thank you. But thank y'all for tuning in. And like I said, I don't know. I might try to. I don't know. I'm trying to come back out. Like, you know, I had extra energy after I finished my walk today. So if I had some extra energy again, I might try to come back this week without my head being wrapped up. Cause I don't need to be the butt. Well, you know what? Whatever. Peace, Shine. If you guys didn't get anything else out of this conversation tonight, I need you to remember this one thing. Am I going to mic drop? Wait a minute. I got to drop it in my lap. It costs too much for me to drop it. Hold up. I want you guys to remember this one thing. One thing. Yeah. I want y'all to remember this one thing. Mind your business. It don't cost you a thing. Now, Sean, this mic drop is for you. Y'all have a good one. Bye.